Silver is a massive bottleneck in Raid Shadow Legends. You're going to be finding yourself always short on it. You basically require it for literally everything. So today we're going to be going and looking throughout the whole game and how you can farm a lot of silver. So join me, my name is Midway, and let's get into it. Before we do so, please go ahead and like this video and subscribe if you really enjoyed my content. And before you do so as well, check out Aptoide if you haven't done so yet. You're going to be able to earn massive bonuses whenever buying things in Raid Shadow Legends through Aptoide. And when you do get those bonuses, you're going to be able to use those bonuses instead to actually make the payments for you. We'll talk more about this in the video. For now, let's get into it. So for the newer players, let's just get this out of the way. The best way to farm silver for the campaign is just going to be to straight up dump all your energy into stage 3 of level 12 of the brutal level, if you can possibly get there. Otherwise, doing so on hard is going to be all right as well, but you want to be getting yourself to brutal as soon as possible. And the reason you want to be farming this stage 3 is because the shields that are going to be dropping from here, they're items that are going to be giving you more money, or rather more silver, than any other item kind that you can get from the campaign, right? So while you are doing these, you're also going to be getting a whole lot of energy, and then just like, I don't know, like 50,000, 30,000, something like between 30,000 and 50,000 silver per run. So just picture that you're getting a lot of XP as well as a lot of silver. Extremely easy to do. You should be doing this by now, and if you are an already kind of experienced player, you got a couple weeks into it, I'm sure you already know about it. So let's just go and keep going. If you want to join my team in Raid Shadow Legends, click the link in the description to get a free Narma as well as Anax, Uugo, and Mausoleum Mage as you progress through the game. Here's what you need to do. First of all, log out of Clarion Play on PC and uninstall. Then click the link in the description and register a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial, and then go to your inbox and claim your first champ. Don't miss out on your chance to get a fresh start in Raid with a free Narma and 3 epic champs. Click on my link right now. Now, with the obvious part out of the way, let's now focus on something that might not be as obvious, and that is farming the faction wars. Now, you might think that that doesn't make any sense because in faction wars, you don't really get any silver from the actual drops, right? But you do get materials, a hell of a lot of them, even if you're doing the lowest levels possible, right? Let's just say, for example, I'm not really able to go very far, right? So I'm not getting materials that are really worth much. I'm getting a lot of blues and maybe eventually a couple epics, which eventually I will use, but the blue ones I really just don't care much about for the sake of the gear that they give. But don't get me wrong, they are very much worth your time and they will give you a whole of a lot of money. We'll get more in depth into it, but for sure you should be trying to get at least a decent team that can clear like a couple stages of any sort of faction in the crypts. And if you are able to do so every day, you will thank me a lot eventually. Now, the real money making in this game is going to be to farm Spider's Lair in stage 20, right? It's not going to be extremely accessible for most people right off the bat, but as you are approaching a point where you do so and you're able to quickly and consistently farm stage 20 and dump your energy in here, you are going to be in the money. Now, the reason why that is the case is because at this point you're going to be getting 5 to 6 stars accessory, and now these sell for a lot of money. They are worth so much. At the point you are getting to stage 20, you are always going to be benefiting from either just the gear that's going to be dropping. It might be good for yourself, or if it's crap and it doesn't really make too much sense to you, you can just go ahead and sell it, and we'll get into the money percentages, or rather quantities, that you can expect out of this type of items. But believe me, this is very much worth where you want to be getting to. You will kind of need to assemble certain types of teams, which I, by the way, got a video on how to get a very strong team going for Spider's Den, and stage 20 is really where you want to be going. After that, once you get past that, it's really not going to be as efficient because the energy requirements are going to be a lot higher. And yes, at some point at stage 25, you might have higher chances of dropping bigger rarity items, but yes, stage 20 for the most part and for most people is kind of like the end game for Spider. At that point, you are good to go. One thing that's extremely important in Raid Shadow Legends is to know what tier sets you are able to sell without having any drawbacks or any regrets whatsoever, right? There is some tier sets that are straight crap and you want to be getting rid of as soon as possible because, well, selling stuff is going to be giving you a lot of money. So one very easy sort of idea that you can just like put together and that's going to be giving you easy and safe money is to sell anything that's like 1, 3 to 4 stars. Now, that is to say, if you are getting early, you're still only a couple weeks into the game or something like that, you might not want to be getting rid of all that's like up to 4 stars. At that point, you might be wanting to keep some of this. But as a general rule of thumb, if you're already a little bit experienced with the game, you are really not supposed to put any silver into upgrading items that are that low tier, right? It's going to be a straight up waste of money because they just have lower value on the main stat, right? It's like overall worse to upgrade. So really just upgrading those items would definitely be a waste, and therefore if you just go ahead and get rid of them and sell them, well, at that point, you are already getting a little bit of money, right? As we mentioned, some types of items are going to be worth a little bit more, and it's all based off of what the type of item is, as well as the rarity, right? So if we can just like go through a clear every now and then and sell everything that's like 1 to 3, even 4 stars, I would say that even if you are like a much newer player, up to 3 stars, you can basically just sell everything. Like selling anything that's like 1 to 3 would be acceptable for a lot of newer players. Now you can also sort of do the same for like green and gray stuff, like those types of artifacts, or rather just like in general, just those artifacts are going to be a lot less worth in general terms. Now they might, like if they are like high stars and stuff and they are like from a set that's like really worth it, then you might be thinking a little bit more about it, but I generally just go ahead and sell all of this. I think it's definitely worth to just get rid of whatever is like low tier, low quality, and if that's going to be getting a little bit of silver out of that, well, you might as well just go ahead and do so, right? So I generally go ahead and do sell those kinds of items. Now there is also, as I mentioned, some tier sets that are very, very bad. For example, like live sets or defense sets, attack sets, like those that you get from the very early stages from the campaign. You're going to be getting quite a few during the first couple weeks, and honestly, they are just like very, very bad. No matter that you can see, of course, live, attack, and defense and all that stuff, no matter that you have like a very, very high level piece on those, like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6 stars even sometimes, they are probably just not going to be worth it. Like, you are going to be finding a lot better stuff as you are progressing through the game. You're going to be getting to the lifesteal, you're going to be getting to the speed, you're going to be getting to stuff that's a lot more worth your money and investment, and therefore I would just straight up sell those. Now I got as well a video on this channel about what artifact sets you should be looking to keep, like a little bit of a tier list, so you can go ahead and check and direct yourself to that one. It might be in the description as well, so if you want to be really finding out if your tier sets are worth selling, well, that's a good way of knowing. Now on the subject of accessories, how do we judge if an accessory is good or not? The good way of just doing it easily is to look at whether or not the substats are going to be matching the main stat, right? If they do, then that accessory makes sense. Why is that? Well, you don't really want to be putting something that's like attack based on a piece that's really has a main stat that is offensive based. Like for example, over here we have something that's supposed to be for an attack champion because it has attack main stat, but then every substat is going to be defensive. If that was the case, which in this case it kind of like it's matching what I'm saying, you could safely kind of like sell this because it's not really going to be worth putting your money into something like this. You're going to be rarely finding a champion who's going to be benefiting from both focusing on their attack stats as well as the substats, and this kind of applies to all sorts of gear. If the substats don't match the main stat, and it's particularly egregious for the accessories based off of the kind of stats that they can roll, then that artifact just doesn't make any sense, right? It's rarely ever going to be worth putting your time and money into, so you can safely just go ahead and sell that. Now on that subject, also selling like lower tier and rarity accessories is going to be as well worth it. They're a little bit harder to come by in the early game because clearing the spider is going to be not as accessible, and they are really the only place where they come from, right? So in that case, I might be looking to stick to at least like a fewer lower rarity types of accessories just for the sake of like having something to put onto your champions. But the mismatch on the stats, it's a very good way of telling, well, this doesn't make sense. Like for example, right, this, I don't even know why I upgraded this, I guess defense as a main stat, and then everything is like attack and then a little bit of HP. These wouldn't really make sense on pretty much any champion, right? So I would just be able to easily get rid of this, and I'm sure I'm not going to be missing it because I'm not going to be wanting to put it on any other champion. And as we already talked about, if you're going to be farming the spider, which you should definitely be doing so if you're able to clear high levels comfortably, selling some of these items, so like you can see for example a banner, 5-star banner, which would be the minimum that can drop from a stage 20 spider, is already selling for 52,000. That is insane. Let's just say I'm selling a ring over here, 34,000, something else, I don't know, a little bit of do we have any necklaces around here? I think we might have, like for example this one right here is like, so like a necklace would be 45,000, right? Those are items by themselves. They're giving you like full clear of the campaign states, like stage 3 level 12. This is basically equal to that, and you're going to be getting 2 of this, like 2 accessories every time you're farming the spider on stage 20, right? So you can see the money is going to be rolling in, as well as you're going to be also getting the well, whatever random chances of getting artifacts that are actually good, right? So yes, selling the artifacts here, especially the accessories, is going to be extremely lucrative. And by the way, just in case you don't know if stats on a piece of gear are like what kind of stats can roll in that particular piece of gear, right? Because it's like a general question that I find myself asking sometimes. You can just go on the item and then click on upgrade. So you can find it over here with the little upgrade icon over here with the eye. or the I letter. And as you scroll down over here, you're going to be able to see all the different types of stats that can roll on the accessories, right? You can see the primary stat which can roll on that, the substats, and as the bonus of ascending them, look at you roll all this good stuff, right? So if you're going to expect to get something, I don't know, like attack, defense, HP on that ring, you can see that, well, maybe I wouldn't really be able to get anything that's like greater than that. Like, for example, if you would think that anything that doesn't have crit damage onto a piece that is not able to roll it, then maybe your expectations are wrong, right? So this is a good way of judging whether or not you are getting good items, because, well, some items can roll some stats and some items can not. Now, going back on what I mentioned before about the faction wars, you can just go ahead and craft a lot of the resilience type of a set, because, well, straight up pretty much crap is you're going to be getting the perception one, which is going to be a lot better for many champions. You're going to be wanting to do a lot of this in particular because of the accuracy and the speed. Of course, they're great stats for pretty much anybody, but resilience itself is just a little bit of HP defense. It's not terrible, but for the most part, you are going to be finding better alternatives, and in general, you're going to be getting those stats elsewhere, right? So what can we do about all this stuff? Like, look at that. I can craft 132 of the crappy 3 to 4 star items, which, as we already mentioned in general terms, anything that's like up to 4 stars at the point you are in the game where you're over, like, I don't know, 1-2 months into the game, you're going to be wanting to sell anything that's up to 4 stars, as well as we're most likely going to be rolling like greens and blues, because we're not going to be using any of this stuff, right? So what we're going to be doing is just crafting a lot of this. And we want to specifically be crafting them during the clan versus clan, because you're going to be getting a lot of points for your clan if you are doing this while that is active, and it's just basically free money, right? So it's going to be costing you a little bit of silver. It might not seem very intuitive because you are paying for this, right? But as you do this, you're also going to be getting, I don't know, something like 150, 100, even 180,000 silver from selling everything, right? And we are just going to be selling everything. We don't really care about what they roll. We don't really care about whether their stats are good or not. If they're better quality, it's going to be better, but we can just go ahead and sell literally everything, and that is like 10k, 10k, almost 10k, and then like straight up 10k, whatever, right? So you can actually automatically do this, and I'll show you in a moment, so you don't actually have to manually see through every single one of those. Like, you can offset the price of the crafting with basically every item that you're selling, right? So at least you're getting almost 100k, and then everything that's like higher amounts of stars or rarity, it's going to be an extra profit. So if you want to be doing this quick and efficiently, you're going to be using quick craft and then just sell literally everything. You can set your filters over here to sell basically everything that's going to be like blue, or rather, you're going to be always be getting like, I don't know, you could potentially get, I don't think you can get a mythic or legendary, but you can just like sell literally everything like this, and you're going to be good to go. It's going to be selling quick, and it's going to be crafting on itself. Of course, the cost of the craft is, of course, depending on the amount of crafts you're able to do, but I would particularly save and wait until the clan versus clan comes around, because you're going to be able to just allow your clan to progress a little bit easier, and it's just straight up free money, right? So if you're going to be crafting, I don't know, 200 pieces during the clan versus clan, well, that is a lot of money. Now, as a final tip and more of a warning for basically newer players in particular, if you are going to want to participate in gear crafting or gear upgrading events, or rather artifact enhancing events, I think that's exactly what they're called, you're going to be requiring a lot of silver if you want to be getting to the higher rewards of them, right? I cannot actually check that one out because it hasn't started yet, but you're going to be needing something like 15 million to 22 million, something like that, if you actually want to get to the max rewards, right? And you should be trying to select the events and tournaments you are participating into, because you want to be getting all of this if possible, right? You want to be stacking up your resources and dump them all at the right time so you can actually get the most benefit out of. This is kind of like a general rule for the entire game. You want to be only using your shards whenever there's like a 2x event going on for the summons. You only want to be dumping your stuff or upgrading your champions whenever there's a clan versus clan active, because you're going to be helping out your clan. As well as if there's like a personal rewards clan versus clan, it's even better. So this really just applies as well to the silver usage, right? You're going to be using a lot of your silver in particular to upgrade your artifacts, so you really want to be doing and trying to do so during those kinds of events so you can benefit the most out of it. Of course, you're always going to be getting the artifacts enhanced eventually. It's just a deterministic thing. You're going to be spending your money and it's going to be happening, but if you do so during the events, it's always a lot more worth it. And that's it, everybody. Like, subscribe, and before you go, please go ahead and check it out if you haven't done so yet. You're going to be able to earn massive bonuses when playing Raid Shadow Legends through Aptoide. If you buy things in here, you're going to be getting that bonus. You can go from extra 10% of the money you're spending all the way up to extra 35% of that much money. And once you do have those bonuses, you're going to be able to use them instead of your real money to do the payments for you. There's going to be a link down there in the description explaining how to set it up on your Android devices, like your emulators, like BlueStacks on your PC or your Android phone. And there's also going to be a code somewhere here in the screen as well as in the description. That's going to be allowing you to get an extra 5% from bonus from the get-go right away, so you can start earning even more bonuses, right? So if you got any questions, drop it down below in the comment section. section. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. See you.